Good evening. This is Wilson, November 6 Echo Mike Foxtrot, your net control operator for the River City Arc Slow Scan TV net. This net serves for training and practice in image transmission modes and meets Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock p.m. on the N6NA repeater on 441.30 megahertz. River City Arcs members and all licensed radio amateurs are welcome to participate. You should also know this is being live streamed on YouTube. Go to N6NA.org, click on Nets, and you'll find information as to how to get to the YouTube streaming for this. If you wish to join a net or need to make a call at any time, please announce your call sign between transmissions, and net control will acknowledge you. If an emergency should arise and you need the repeater, please contact the net control by saying break, break. A double break signifies emergency traffic. The net will stand by for you until the emergency is terminated or the traffic is moved to another frequency. Well, stations who wish to check in are asked to respond with their full call sign using the recognized ITU alphabet and their name. I'll recognize each station before continuing.
November 6, Papa Golf, Quebec.
Delta Golf.
White Lima 7, Hotel Quebec Radio.
November Romeo 6 Hotel.
Kilo November 6, Quebec November Juliet.
Good evening, James. Thanks for checking in. I got a double at the same time as you. Could the last operator check once again? Someone double James after Anders. Got NR6H. Anders checked in.
Did you get me, N6PGQ?
Yes, very good. Well, Bob, I got you N6PGQ. Carol, KP4MD. AI6DG got Joel, and KL7HQR. Neil, welcome back home, and thanks for checking in, everyone. Any other check-ins? All right, well, let's get this slow scan TV show on the road. Bob, N6PGQ, if you're ready to transmit, go right ahead.
Okay, this is going to be PD120 and 6PGQ.
Bob has successfully transmitted a photo, and I can see where it reads with black bars above and below the flexible element with an oval around the words repeater and D-star capable. So the flexible element, I'm not sure what that means, but in the background it appears to be some kind of corrugated plastic sheeting maybe, but I can't tell exactly what that is. And it looks humorous, but I guess it could be something else. So let me turn that over to KP4MD. Carol, would you have some impression or some interpretation of this photo? Thank you. N6EMF.
Yeah, this is KP4MD. I think it's the question here is the labeling of an antenna as being repeater and D-star capable. It's like it's an advertising gimmick. This is the kind of thing that is used with the general public when they're buying television antennas. When they say this TV antenna is HDTV compatible or capable. You don't need a special antenna just to get a special type of modulation. It has nothing to do with the modulation, because if the antenna works on the frequency, it's going to work regardless if there's a repeater there or simplex or D-star or analog. But it's a gimmick done for the general public, and apparently they're applying the same type of marketing now for amateurs. But you would expect a radio amateur that buys this sort of thing probably knows all that by, first of all, passing their license exam. But who knows? Maybe there are some that forget it all as soon as they pass their license exam. They'll just forget everything they learned. I doubt that, though. Back to you, Wilson. This is KP4MD.
All right, Carol. Well, that's funny. Thank you for that. It reminds me of an old Chris Rock thing that he did. He talked about buying a car at the dealership, and it was too expensive, so he was asking for the dealer for a discount because he doesn't use the right turn signal. So he asked to take the turn signal out, and because he can make left-hand turns all the way back home or something like that. Well, this one, I would ask for a discount. Well, maybe I don't want the repeater part, so could you keep that function and give me a discount? Oh, by the way, I don't use D-Star, so can I get the antenna without those capabilities for a discount, please? All right, well, how about AI6DG? Joel, do you have anything? Were you able to copy?
Well, my computer is still down, so I'm computerless and not currently able to use the setup I've used before. I'm actually setting up to use my cell phone and coupling. So I didn't receive that. I might the next one, and by the time you get to me, I might actually be able to send something if I get things set up right. So I'm on YouTube, and I'm not sure YouTube received it right because I see a black bar on the bottom, in the center, in a oval repeater and D-star capable, flexible element above that with, maybe a corrugated something in the background, and NA on the extreme left, just to the left of the oval with repeater and D-star capable in it. So I don't see any other than that. There's maybe something I see a corner of on the extreme lower left of just above the black bar. So I don't know if I received everything or not, but I'm not in the joke. I just don't get it. Maybe because I don't have the full picture. Back to net, AI6DG.
All right, Joel, well, thanks for participating. Hopefully you get back online with your PC and get whatever is going on back online. And it's nice that you found another way, so stay with us. Appreciate your inputs, and let's see what Bob would have to say. How about Neil, KL7HQR? Welcome home, Neil. Hooray. You made it back. So were you able to copy?
This is KL7HQR. Yeah, great to be traveling. Fantastic trip back home. At least I can sense things here from here. I think, Joe, you got the correct picture. You're looking at the same picture all of us are looking at. And I was disappointed with what Carol said, because I remember when I was in the Air Force just starting, I bought a whole set of left-hand screwdrivers. and I think this falls right along the same thing. So anyway, yeah, unfortunately those gimmicks keep on coming in. I think the NA on the left side is just the end of the word antenna. So yep, very interesting. Back to none. Gale 7-inch track.
Afghan screwdrivers. I'll bet they cost extra. They charge the military extra. All right. Well, thank you. And November Romeo 6 Hotel, Anders, I think for the first time in a long time I got your call sign correct. So how about you? Were you able to copy?
You and me both. It requires a lot of practice to get that right. This is NR6H. Yeah, I got the good picture with a black bar on top and a black bar on the bottom, and then this little thing in the middle there. Yeah, I agree with Carol Hill that this is probably a some kind of snake oilish advertising going on here. I remember related to that when I bought my first car in California. It was a August day up in Roseville, and the guy went on and on about the car having heated back row seats. And I was looking at it and said, I'm not paying extra for that. That's not something I want to pay for in California. So anyway, got the picture. Interesting to hear what this is about. This is NR6H, back to net.
All right, we mixed in a little bit of screwdrivers. We got a couple of different types of cars. So this is good. This is getting better. Well, James, KN6QNJ, good evening to you, and how about it? Were you able to copy as well?
Good evening, Wilson. This is KN6QNJ. Yeah, I copied, came through very nicely. I don't have too much to add. I am very curious about where it's from and what it's about.
You know, I appreciate that, James. I've changed my mind. I think I'm willing to pay extra for the repeater and the D-Star capability. So let's hear from Bob, N6PGQ.
Okay, well, let's see. Where do we start? Yesterday, my dear old radio wouldn't transmit, so I've had this problem before. After a year or two of people bumping into the antenna on the back corner of my truck, it usually kills the antenna. So I drove over to the local ham radio store, HRO, on Auburn Boulevard, and needed to replace my antenna. And it was a little tight, so I was thinking of using a metric crescent wrench to take the antenna off, but it fortunately came off on its own. And so I went into the store and bought this Comet antenna that had the packaging that you see. You know, so I figured I would give you guys a chuckle because I was really worried when I went out that it wouldn't work on a FM repeater or FM simplex, but it seems to magically work on things other than D-Star. So anyway, there it is. It's the antenna that goes on the back of my truck, and that was its packaging, N6PGQ.
All right, Bob, I really appreciate you sharing some recent episode of retail therapy and replacing an important element on your pickup truck for being able to stay in contact with us in ham radio. So I like seeing updates on what folks are getting. So any other comments for Bob's new antenna? And by the way, congratulations on getting your antenna replaced. And go ahead if there's any comments or questions.
Kilo November 6, Quebec November Juliet.
Go ahead, James.
Well, earlier this evening I thought I may need a new antenna because Net Control wasn't able to hear me. I don't know what was going on, so I switched to an HT, but you're hearing me here on 446-300, so something's working.
All right, well, seems like a little bit of a maybe a task to go out and find out what's happening with your antenna system. Sorry to hear about that, James.
Well, I might wind up going to HRO too and buying a new antenna. We'll see. I don't know if I'll need a repeater and D-Star capable one, but anyway, the picture did come through, and I'm glad to hear the story.
The other thing I would suggest is you might want to check to see if what type of squelch you have set up for your thing, and do you have the PL tone set correctly. That's a common cause of not being able to get out, I think, too, right?
Yeah, I think I'll do that in the morning, although it was intermittent, but yeah, thank you.
All right, very good. Intermittence doesn't sound like fun. Any other comments, questions on Bob's new antenna? All right, thanks, Bob. That was a fun one. How about Carol, KP4MD, if you're ready? Go ahead with a photo.
Okay, it's going to be PD120.
All right, Carol, I was able to copy a successful transmission from you, KP4MD, and I see a double stacked circuit board. They're separated by standoffs on the four corners and a couple of USB ports at the bottom and some kind of RF SMA port on top maybe. But I can't discern what it is. Maybe haven't heard of one of these, but it says WSPRPI. Maybe that's a whisper. I don't know what that is, but the 2021 D-Bird. Fun-looking module there, so I can't wait to hear more about it. And let me turn that over to Bob, N6PGQ. How copy?
Well, you described it pretty well. There's a right-angle SMA on the right, and it says 2021 Dead Bird or something to that effect. And it's probably a whisper transmitter, maybe on top of a Raspberry Pi, but a really good picture. You can see the surface mount components real well. N6PGQ.
Very good, Bob. Nice copy then. Let's see. I'll turn it over to AI6DG. Joel, would you like to comment? N6CMF.
Hey, so I got an image actually on the phone, although, darn it, now it's getting overwritten. I wonder how I set it to, I guess I need to go out of auto mode. So I'll since I don't have an image on my phone screen anymore, I'll look at the YouTube screen. Okay, so we've got a red circuit board, surface mount components, a transistor in the middle of it, with actually a position next to it for another transistor. Oh, and that's a through-hole transistor, whereas everything else on the board is surface mount, except maybe the right-angle SMA connector. We got probably some headers on the upper left of the board, which is where it plugs into the board that it's sandwiched with. And I see 4 standoffs in the 4 corners where it's bolted or screwed to the board beneath it, which I'm thinking is probably a Raspberry Pi Zero of some variant, because the form factor is not of a normal Raspberry Pi. Whisper Pi, so it's a Pi Hat version 2.0, copyright 2021 Deadbird, D-E-D-B-U-R-D. Haven't heard of a Deadbird before, but looks like something that you could set up and just let sit, run forever, and have fun seeing what your problem is like from looking at WhisperNet. Back to net, AI6DG.
Oh, this is pulled the words right off the tip of my tongue. I was going to say WhisperNet, but I wasn't sure. But I think you're onto something. And thanks for that, Joel. Thanks for participating. And how about Neil, KL7HQR? Well, how copy?
KL7HQR. Well, very little to add. The descriptions have been extremely accurate. The only thing I can say is that I got a very, very clear picture, being able to see all the details that has been mentioned. But as far as technically what this is, I don't see any vacuum tubes, so I don't know how it works. Back to that.
All right. Well, I think we're in for a treat. Thank you, Neil. November Romeo, 6 Hotel. Anders, how about you? Were you able to copy?
Good copy here. Very few pixel pops. Got the repeater ID somewhere, but 1/4 or 3/4 down the image, just under the actual object. The board is interesting. It looks very barren. Very few parts on it to be as advanced as I suppose it is. I don't know anything about the Deadbird project. Whisper Pi. It's either a receiver or a transmitter. Obviously, I'm kind of betting it's a receiver, based on the types of parts that are on there. So I'm kind of guessing that that's what it is. I would assume that there would be more filtering if it was an actual transmitter. But looks interesting for sure. Underneath, definitely a Raspberry Pi Zero. But interesting to hear what this little thing does. NR6H. Back to net.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that, Anders and James K&6QNJ. You want to go for? Let us know whether you were able to copy.
Yeah, the photo came through well. I had the same signal identifier in the bottom quarter. I don't have much to add. I suppose there's a possibility, but I doubt it because it's Carol, that it's not functional. It's just an assemblage of parts, and it's a very cool, modern paperweight.
Oh, if this was made in the form of a gummy worm, my kids would like it. But it looks real. It's not a gummy worm. Okay, well, this will be fun to hear from Carol, KP4MD. You heard all the comments and all the questions. What would you like to share with about this item, N6EMF?
Okay, yeah, this is KP4MD. By the way, there's someone trying to check into our net, apparently.
No signal, Carol.
Yeah. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's this?
EMF.
Okay. Am I coming through now? This is KP4MD.
Able to copy you, Carol. Go ahead. N6EMF.
Okay, yeah, there's someone named Kyle, Kilo November 6 Tango Bravo Delta, who's trying to join us here, but he apparently didn't have his radio program correctly, so he's going to try and join us. The input for the repeater, by the way, is 446.300. Output is 441.300. The offset is 5 megahertz. So yeah, this is a Deadbird. It's a whisper transmitter. It's a low power whisper transmitter. These boards are produced by a ham in England. I think it's Golf 7 Alpha Lima Whiskey. This is one of the things he does. He comes out with these different projects for minimalist whisper transmitters. And this thing, Joel was completely right. It bolts right on top of a whisper, on top of a Raspberry Pi Zero, which is the really small minimalist type of single board computer, very inexpensive. And he has a software. He's written a software that programs the computer to put out RF signal from the header pins. And the only problem is that the RF signal is a square wave, so you can't couple it directly to an antenna. So the thing plugs into the header, and on the left side you see a bunch of these surface mount components, which are a low-pass filter, and that goes into that MOSFET. It's a small MOSFET transistor, which I believe it might be a 2N7000. And then on the output, there's again another low-pass filter to clean up the output of the MOSFET. And those are the surface mount components on the right side that then go to that SMA connector. I believe the output is somewhere under 1 watt, and it's powered directly from the Raspberry Pi board itself, from the header. So you can have, like you say, the software automatically calibrates itself using the your Wi-Fi. It gets a time signal from the Wi-Fi, and it uses that to calibrate the frequency to within a few hertz, and also to get the timing exactly right, the way the whisper transmissions are supposed to start right on the beginning of the minute every 2 minutes. So interesting little thing. I think he sells these for like $26. It's a kit. You have to solder the components on yourself, so you get a little bit of satisfaction from doing that. So a lot of fun. So yeah, he posts this information on a Facebook page, which is it's a group that has to do with whisper, and it was such a cute picture. I thought I'd share it. So maybe we could take a standby, net control, to see if Kilo November 6 Tango Bravo Delta can join us. His name is Kyle. Over.
All right. Well, we welcome Kyle. Hopefully, he's able to pick up. You're set up for 441.300 and do your naturally occurring offset PLs 127.3. We'll be listening. N6 EMF calling Kyle. I missed the call sign. Even though Carol stated it twice, I somehow missed it. My apologies. But was that KN6TBD? KN6TBD. N6 EMF, net control. All right, well, we'll listen for Kyle and see if he can get online. We'll give him a moment to get oriented, but I want to check with others on the list if any follow-up comments or questions for Carol on the Deadbird. Like that might have been Kyle. Was that Kyle trying to pick up the repeater?
Oops, sorry, this is AI6TG. Hey, Carol, question. What's the second transistor slot open? Can you get more power by putting 2 of the transistors in, or what's going on there? AI6TG, back to net.
Yeah, I believe I read it correctly. You could go ahead parallel another transistor in there, get a bit more power.
Roger on that, thanks. How about Kyle? Is Kyle out there?
All right, well, we'll check back for Kyle. Yeah, thanks for sharing this, Carol. It's just one of those things I might be interested in taking a closer look. WhisperNet is a very interesting, system, and it's, I guess that's the whole thing, is to participate in those propagation studies and to learn about how your signal is getting out to different places. Okay, so any other comments? Let that percolate for a second and maybe check. I know that Joel isn't available. He's got some, not going to be able to transmit tonight, I presume, so I'll skip Joel and jump down to Neil, KL7HQR. Neil, are you ready?
Roger, we'll try to send PD 120. And the picture, unfortunately, the resolution is not as good. Maybe you need to kind of bring up full screen or enhance a little, enlarge it a little bit.
This is N6NA Net control, and let's see. I will say that I was able to copy a good photograph from Neil, and I did blow it up, and it looks like a photograph of some sort of berry tree or bush. And what I really appreciate about this, not knowing what kinds of berries or fruits these are, but what I really appreciate about this is I can tell that if this is your photograph, Neil, that you prepared, it's a lot of work probably went into arranging these 4-inch sets off to the side and the main photograph over to the left of the main tree. But nice work, and certainly am interested in hearing about what this is. I would be embarrassed that these are raspberries, but I know raspberries don't grow this way. I mean, these wouldn't be blueberries, but whatever they are, let's hear about it. And I'll maybe turn it over to Bob. He's at the top of the list in 6PGQ. How were you able to copy?
Oh, I copied very well. Boy, those are one heck of a big bunch of berries. And then obviously they've been harvested in the right side. I don't know what kind they are, but I'm interested to find out. Good picture, quality came through fine. Very, very few pixel pops, N6PGQ.
Very good. Okay, well, how about Carol, KP4MD? Let's see, I'm looking at YouTube, but maybe I'm a little off track and I don't see what you received yet, but what comments would you have?
Okay, yeah, I see these little round balls. I don't know, they look like ball bearings in the lower right-hand corner, and I don't know if that's natural for fruit like that to grow on that tree. Or is that some kind of berry, or is that some kind of I don't know, maybe some kind of insect cocoon growing on the side of that tree there. By the way, I looked up Kyle in the FCC ULS system, and his license was effective today, brand new. So want to congratulate Kyle. Don't feel bad about the going through the menus and trying to program that computer, the radio on the fly. It can be a little tricky. You have to enable the the mode for the tone. You have to make sure that you have it on encode mode. Otherwise, your radio will not transmit that code frequency, that tone frequency that that you programmed in there. That's one other thing. So very good. Back to Net. This is Kilo Papa 4 Mike Delta.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, congratulations out there, Kyle. Hopefully you can hear us. He's got a Bofang UV5R, and I see JoJo on the log on the chat. He's having some encouraging words out there. So anyway, I've had a Bofang before. In fact, I have a couple now. I'm just not proficient in using them. Thanks to JoJo, he donated them to me. So let's see, where are we? We are with the berries, and we just got Beyond Carol, KP4MD. Thank you very much for your comments. And Joel, AI6TG, would you like to comment? N6 EMF, net control.
Yeah, so we've got big black round something or another. I don't know if they're berries or coffee beans or cherries or what, but they're look kind of big and black, and they look fine when they're in these small pictures in the bins on the right. But the pictures where you see them kind of just clustered around the branches of that tree, to me looks kind of creepy. I mean, what the heck are they? Because I've never seen berries on branches. I've always seen them off of the leaves and the flowers at the ends of branches and leaves. So I hope they're berries and not something like millions of little crabs of some kind or something that are the tree or bugs or something. But yeah, I want to know more, because otherwise I'm kind of creeped out. And I do have transmit capability. I'm going to try using a encoder on my phone and doing a manual acoustical coupling, holding the mic up to the phone with the towel blanket over the top of it to try to muffle the room noise.
All right, well, let us know when you're ready for that, Joel. Sound good? AI6TG, N6 EMF?
Just say when. I'm ready.
Go ahead. Hold on. Joel, wait, hold up 1 second. For Neil's photo. How about Anders, NR6H? Would you like to let us know whether you were able to copy? How copy?
This is NR6H. I have a very good copy. Very clear, very few pixel pops. Nice arrangement of the pictures in inlay pictures there. And I agree with Joel. I think they're a little creepy. To me, it's like insect egg or maybe a fish rum or something like that. That's going on here. So yeah, interested to hear what this is. This is NR6H. Back to net.
NR6H, thank you very much. How about KN6QNJ? James, how copy?
Copy came through really well for a supposedly low-resolution photo. I'm guessing it might be some kind of fungus. I do like how the photos divided up into 5 different pictures. I think that's really great because it really gives you a sense of the whole context. But that's all I have, possibly a fungus, KN6QNJ.
That's interesting. Well, thank you for that, James. Let's hear from Neil, KL7HQR. What is this? Is this a fungus?
It's KL7HQR. Well, if it is, I'm in trouble. This is actually a berry, and it's a fruit that is grown. It's natural of only 3 states in Brazil. São Paulo, where I'm from, Goiás, which is the state that surrounds Brasilia, and Minas Gerais, which is just north of São Paulo. All of them in the central south part of Brazil. It grows in big trees, and it's the idiosyncrasy that it grows directly from the trunk, as you can see, and not on branches or leaves or bunches. It is a berry, and they are large, at the size of a large grape. They have a very, very shiny black. They're very, very clean, and it's a very thick skin. And when you put it in your mouth and you bite on it, it pops, and there is a very sweet white liquid inside, and there is a seed that you kind of spit out. But yes, I grew up having those and having trees in the farm with my uncle's farm, and but I found out that it is extremely, extremely rare outside of Brazil. So going on with the strange fruits, last time I transmitted the cashew. And by the way, Carol, I think I said the cashew was the only fruit with a seed on the outside. You mentioned strawberries. I investigated that and found out there is a large controversy about that. In many places, they actually use strawberries as an example of that. And other places, they say that they are not, that those yellow dots are at the actual fruit, and the red part is not the fruit. So anyway, a lot of controversy about that, but I learned a little bit. So that's about it. Back to KL7HQR.
Very good. So I'm hearing it's a berry. All right. Any additional questions or comments on the berry photo?
Comment. KL7HQR. Just forgot to mention, here's the name in case you want to look it up. It's called Jabuticaba, and that's spelled Juliet Alpha, Bravo Uniform, Tango India, Charlie Alpha, Bravo Alpha, Jabuticaba.
So did you also prepare the photographs yourself, or did you snag those from somewhere?
I should have started with that. No, I do not deserve any credit. That's a picture that I located and from the internet, and I agree with you. It would be a lot of work to do that. Back to it.
Thanks for sharing, Neil. Always something interesting, and I love the balance of cuisine and food and edibles that you bring to the cast. So thank you very much. Any other comments or questions for Neil before I turn it over to? We'll give Joel a chance at acoustical coupling. It's not going to be acoustical guitar. It'll be acoustical coupling. Go ahead, Joel, N6EMF.
PD120.
All right. It looks to me, Joel, as if you have been able to successfully transmit a picture of what looks like sort of a rear axle. You've got a rear axle on an automobile with a drum brake arrangement, and so what else can I say? If this was acoustic, this was very, very good. It's probably the best I've ever seen for acoustical coupling. So please clarify that or confirm it was acoustical. Nice color photo. It looks like somebody painted the dimple on the nose of this shaft, and I wonder why. Was that something you picked up at one of the recycling yards or something else? Let us know. N6EMF, I will pass that around to, I'll kind of mix it up a little bit, start with James K and 6QNJ. How copy?
Came in very well. I've experimented with acoustical coupling since you all told me about it, and I never had any result as close as this. The top 25% is pretty much all black with some pixel pops, and I don't know if we're missing anything, any part of the photo that should have come in. I see some springs there, center right, which lead me to believe this is some kind of relatively large truck, maybe a mid-sized truck, and it looks like possibly preparation for a brake job or some kind of adjustment. But anyway, the photo came in very well. KN6QNJ.
Right, thanks for that, James. Going in reverse order this time, how about Anders? NR6H, how copy?
Amazing copy for being acoustic coupling, really. I mean, you couldn't tell that this was acoustically transmitted. This would be just as well directly electronic. But yeah, very, very good copy. Pixel pops visible in the black part, but really not in the main image at all. And as for what it shows, clearly somebody is getting his hands dirty here. I see a muffler in the back there. That's what gave away that it was a car. And then the place where there should be a wheel. That's what I see. And R6H, back to net.
Yep, I would say I agree with you. Thank you, Anders. KL7HQR, how copy? N6EMF.
Scale 7HQR. Oh, just to add to what everybody has been saying, one of the clearest pictures that we got tonight, and I don't know what kind of towel you put on top to clean up that acoustical resonance, but it really worked well. As far as the picture itself, I think it's being well described. Looks like a brake job in process or about to be started. Back to net.
That calls into question, digital conversion and all that. So, thanks, Neil. How about Carol, KP4MD? What comment would you have for the photo? Thank you.
Yeah, this is KP4MD. Yeah, this is one of the few parts of a car that I recognize. Yeah, I do see the muffler on the left side there, and then what looks like the old-fashioned brake pads, or what they call them, shoes, brake shoes, before they had the disc brakes. And I wonder if that's actually inside a brake drum. The cylinder brakes. You can see the brake cylinder, and the down on the bottom you can see the what they call those things, the pivots for that hold the bottom of the brake shoes. So interesting. Haven't seen one of these in a long time. And oh yeah, it looks like I could see the. You actually could see the shock absorber. Part of the shock absorber to the left side coming from the lower right hand corner of that wheel going up, and then the big spring that's on the right side behind that wheel. So back to you. This is KP4 Mike Delta.
All right. Well, thank you, Carol. A little known fact is that drum-style brakes are extremely effective as parking brakes, and disc brakes are a lot more effective for bleeding off kinetic energy. But anyway, this type of brake arrangement is used on a lot of modern economy cars. If you look at things like certain trim levels of things like Toyota Corollas, you will find these types of brakes even on the new ones. All right, we're going to get to Joel in just a minute, but how about Bob, N6PGQ? Here's another car guy.
Okay, well, the quality's really good. On the rear swing arm that's hooked to the springs is probably the emergency brake cable going into the brakes. It's obviously not an American Bendix brake. It's built differently. You can see the return springs and the adjustment inside. Spot for the wheel bearing has got some grease on it, and there's a little bit of rust everywhere, including on the wheel cylinder. Looks like someone's doing a before picture to make sure that they know where all the springs and everything goes. And as Carol said, you can see the shock absorber and the coil springs on the right and the muffler in the upper left. N6 PGQ.
All right, Bob, I would say that dust and rust have nothing to do with shareholder value for a drum brake system. Slap that drum back on and get that car back on the road and collect the payment. How's that? Anyway, thanks for that, Bob, and just kidding. Let's take one moment of pause and see if we can give Kyle an opportunity to check in. Kyle, N6EMF, Net Control, are you able to pick up the repeater now? All right, let's see. KN6, TBD. Kyle, N6EMF. All right, we'll stand by. We'll be listening for you if you want to check in at some point down the road as we progress through the net, Kyle. And so, Joel, how about it? Would you tell us about your photo? AI6DG N6EMF.
I don't think there's much rust in here. It's mostly brake shoe dust, a lot of brake dust. And yes, this is a before photo. I took multiple photos, making sure I could figure out how to put the darn thing back together. That's definitely something that any mechanic should be doing all the time, is taking lots of pictures, especially if you're doing something for the first time. It took me about 20 minutes to do it the first time on the side, and only about 5 minutes to do the second one on the driver's side. And this is the driver's side, which is surprising. I'm not sure why I would have taken a shot on the driver's side. So most of the photos I took were on the other side. And everything's been noticed already. I didn't even notice the muffler, but yeah, that's the muffler. In fact, you can see the pipe, the exhaust pipe, on the right, just above the emergency brake cable on the trailing arm. And I guess that's the spring and shock absorber. That makes sense. What you're seeing on the left and the right, just behind the backing plate. I don't know why the red paint's there. Maybe it's used as part of the bolt, when the bolt's on, to let you know, as part of indication that it's been put on right and how far to turn it or something. I'm not sure. But I'm surprised. Are they still putting brakes on the rear for even modern cars? Because I would think by now everyone would have gone to a disc all around. But maybe they're that much cheaper and still just as effective. But I was worried about this project. I wasn't sure how expensive or difficult it would be, and it turned out to be a lot easier than I thought it would be. And the 4 shoes, the entire shoes for the back, I think were only $16. And this is a Geo Metro. It's not a truck. It's a little itty-bitty. I mean, it's amazing how small and nothing there is on the rear of a 1,600-pound 3-cylinder Geo Metro. It was actually kind of a fun project, and I'm glad I've got known good brakes, because and that I did it when I did, because there was just the slimmest little bit of pad left on the shoes. Back to net, AI6DG.
Yeah, for certain. Well, nice photo and nice work. Congratulations on your brake job. I have a 2013 Toyota Corolla LE, which is kind of a middle trim for that car. Those cars aren't very elaborate, but the rear end of my car, looks identical to this. You got to remember the Geo was a consortium between General Motors and Toyota back in the 80s, right? This section of your car looks exactly like my Toyota. I'm certain that the parts are probably interchangeable, but yeah, they still use these types of arrangements on inexpensive, even newer cars, and they're just like you said. The components are the material doesn't cost very much, but there's quite a bit more labor involved in putting it together, and they're extremely effective for parking brakes. And on the rear, it doesn't matter that much because most of your braking capacity comes from the front wheels on a sedan with an engine in the front. So it doesn't matter that much to have drums in the rear. It's low cost and it works, and it's more effective as a parking brake. If you were using discs inside the rear disc, you would have a drum anyway with a set of shoes to perform the parking brake function. I don't know if you're aware of that, but that's how that works. Anyways, again, let's turn it over to others for any questions or comments.
And TBD, doesn't that copy?
Oh, absolutely. Well, welcome aboard KN6TVD. This is N6EMF. So congratulations on, I would suppose, is your first QSO here on the air. It's a pleasure and an honor. Congratulations on getting your new ham ticket.
Thank you very much. I passed yesterday and got my call sign this morning. I had a little trouble here with the settings. Every time I would save the PL tone, it would reset back to 0 for some reason. So this is actually my first transmission. So thank you everybody for your patience, and thanks for the congratulations.
All right, well, you're welcome, and thank you for checking in, and I'll add you to the log, and let's see, did anybody else want to welcome Kyle as he's checking in?
Welcome to the hobby, AI6DG, back to net.
And Jay, I'm a relatively new ham, and your challenge tonight got me to check the PL tone for the main repeater for N6NA, and everyone was right. My tone numbers changed somehow, but it's fixed now. Anyway, welcome aboard.
Scale 7H2R, welcome aboard, Kyle, and hope to hear you on N6NA and the other repeaters in the area.
NR6H here. Welcome, Kyle. Good job. Fantastic. Welcome to this awesome hobby of ham radio. You will get sucked in, as did I a couple of years ago now. One more comment about the towel. That was clearly SSTV compatible. NR6H back to net.
Very good.
Yeah, I didn't mention, I've got the phone sitting on the desktop. The noise at the top is probably as I'm pushing the start transmission and then putting the towel on top of everything, and then me trying not to move or squeeze too hard and make noise in the room or anything. Back to net, AI6DG.
All right, well, thanks for that follow-up, Joel. And I wanted to express appreciation to Carol. She's out there running the YouTube live streaming and the recording, and she's monitoring the chat room and seeing and helping out with Kyle, our new guy, helping him to get online. So thanks very much, Carol, for Elmering on short notice here.
Yeah, thank you. And I want to also congratulate Kyle. I don't know very many hams that make their first contact on a slow scan TV net, which is kind of a little bit exotic, I would think. But excellent, and maybe Kyle will be interested in sending pictures really soon. We're looking forward to you joining us. Back to nets, KP4MD.
Well, thank thank you for that, Carol, and that encouragement going out to Kyle. Kyle, did you have any comments? I would also say I started off with an HT like you. I have a Yaesu FT60R. It's very similar in its capability, and I made my first QSOs on SlowScan TV Net the same way that Joel, AI6DG, just sent a copy of this brake drum. I sent my first SlowScan TV Net photos using acoustical coupling, so it can be done. Let's get engaged and talk about how to do it later. How's that?
Yeah, this is a really great hobby, something I've been wanting to get into for quite some time, and just finally pulled the trigger on it. Never really realized how easy it could be to get into, and I actually listened to, I was scanning and picked up your guys' SSTV Net last week, and looked like a lot of fun, so decided that, if I got my my tech in time, that I would hop on here and try to have some fun with you guys. Unfortunately, trying to figure this out has eaten up all of my time for this evening, so I'm going to have to go ahead and say goodbye to everyone, but I will definitely be around. So thank you, everyone, for your help, and thank you again for the congratulations. KN6 TVD.
All right, again, well, thanks for checking in, and once again, congratulations. We're looking forward to hearing from you again in the near future. So that was KN6 TVD. This is Wilson, N6 EMF. We say 7-3. It's like best regards. 7-3. Have a good night. Okay, so anybody have any follow-up comments for Joel? I think we have a couple of more rounds we have to get through. We have to give Anders NR6H and James QN6QNJ. So Anders, you're up.
All right, this is a picture that I don't own, so I guess I should have got a signed release before I did this, but I'll take my chances. Here comes PD120.
I was able to copy just a wonderful photo of two wonderful hams. I will say that I will recuse myself from a description because I'm the photographer. And immediately turn it over to N6PGQ, Bob. But I will say it was a good transmission, good color balance. I don't see any discernible. Well, I do see some pixel pops, but it is a good photograph and nice work, Anders. Turn it over to N6PGQ. How copy?
Well, here's a couple of hams out in the field. The chain link fence is clear. The writing's clear. And I don't know what's going down through the white bucket down right at the very middle of the bottom of the page, but that looks like a KX2 on the table on the right, and I don't know what's inside the box on the other side, but good quality, came through real well. N6PGQ.
All right, very good, Bob. Thank you. KP4MD, Carol, have you seen this photo before? Do you know where your friends are? N6EMF, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the exact same picture that was sent before, maybe another view, but yeah, it kind of looks like one that I've seen before. Mr. Wilson there on the right side, and on the left side, that's our friend Anders, and doing a little outdoor activity. And this was prior to the winter field day, I believe. And there's the on the up on the fence behind them is Anders' antenna tuning unit there. So looks really nice, nice and clear. Yeah, I could actually hear the pave pause ticking going on in the background in the audio. I'm sure it came through on YouTube also. It's like a rhythmic tick, 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 which is the pulses of the pave pause radar up at Beale Air Force Base that we share this band with. So back to Net. This is KP4 Mike Delta.
Thank you for that, Carol. That is KP4MD and 6EMF. And how about KL7HQR? Neil, how copy?
KL7HQR, very good copy, like everybody says. A few pops, but unfortunately, I would not have recognized either one of them since we have not had the pleasure of meeting them in person. But looks like very good activity being prepared for, and they're interesting to understand what kind of antenna they used. I don't think they used the antenna tuner to broadcast using the chain link fence. So looking forward to hearing more details about this. Back to Net.
Very good. Thank you, Neil. KN6QNJ. James, how copy?
A few pixel pops throughout. Looks like two friends getting ready to go fly fishing, obviously. KN6QNJ.
Well, all right. Well, like I said before, thank you, James. I took the photo, and I'm going to turn it over to Anders in R6H.
I was not aware that this had been used before, but I can imagine it did. Must have been one of the weeks when I had a bye week. I'm sorry about that, but hey, here it is again. It is a good picture, I think, taken by N6EMF himself. Well, actually, no, it's taken by a tripod that Wilson set up so that we could both be in the picture at the same time. And yeah, that's what happened. This was a good spring day, well, winter day, I guess, in January in Lou Howard Park here in Folsom. Just straight north, really, from the old city of Folsom. There's a little hill there and a little park right up there, and it's actually a really good place to set up. There's plenty of room. And not too much traffic, kind of the end of the road park, so there's no through traffic. And we had a good day. We had a few hours there playing around on the radio, and, well, I think we were playing around more than on the radio, but anyway, it was fun. As for the antenna and tuners and everything, we had a couple of different, or three different types of antennas. One, you may be able to see that there are two wires coming out of the right-hand table there, or one, well, yeah, there are two wires coming out. Not sure about that one. Maybe Wilson can explain that. But one of them was the antenna. Coming from the KX2. The other one is the coax that is coiled by my feet and then go back to the chain link fence. Up on the fence is a remote antenna tuner that then goes up to a 25-ish foot pole that is behind the camera in this case. So it kind of goes above and slanted upwards. So that was the HF antenna. And then we also had a VHF antenna up on that 25-foot pole. That was used for a little bit of VHF. So that's what this was. It was a fantastic day. I want to go back there very soon and hope that others will join. This is NR6H, back to net.
All right, well, thank you for the narrative on that. Yeah, I think I used this a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I can't remember now, but I used this photograph in one of the nets, and you did a good job covering the gaps in my description, but I talked about more about how it was a social time for us to kind of gab, and we did a little bit of operating, but my KX2 is sitting on top of the TV table, and the wire that appears to be coming out of the bag is really attached to a banana plug type connector on the KX2, and one wire is a counterpoise, and the other wire is the element. So they're just two separate wires for that. Just the perspective makes it look kind of weird. But thanks for the photo, Anders. It's a good one, and lots of good memories in that photo. So thank you. Any comments, questions?
KN6QNJ. Anders, is that your portable 991 setup?
Roger, that's my Go box. So it's a 19-inch 4U rack box that has all kinds of goodies inside of it, including power source, charger, a VHF radio, the 991. Now it also has a tuner, solar charger stuff, amplifier, speakers, lights, all kinds of stuff in there. So yeah, Fun Radio will look at that this weekend, I believe, when James and I are actually going to meet up in Roseville for the extra class, what did he call it? GOTA? Get on the Air? Digital Get on the Air up in Roseville this Saturday. So that'll be fun. Looking forward to it. NR6H, back to net.
Wow, yeah, there were, when I showed the picture, there were lots of questions about your box, and I couldn't remember everything that was in it, but thanks for covering that as well. All right, well, thanks for sharing, Anders, and great question, James. James, you're up. KN6QNJ. If you're ready, go ahead and transmit your photo.
Okay, this will be PD 120.
No signal yet, James.
All right, let me try again. All right, stand by.
Standing by, N6NA EMF.
Did you get a tone?
No tone. Try again. I think we got tone that time. Nice work, James. Go ahead.
Let me try tone one more time.
I got your tone.
Okay. KN6QNJ, I'm not hearing anything.
I thought I heard your tone before. Okay, you want to try again?
Let me check one more adjustment.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so for the group, as we close out, I'm going to send a black and white 12 after I hear back from James.
I'll go ahead and do that. Let me go through my menus here.
I'm going to send thank you, James. That was KN6QNJ. I'm going to send a black and white 12. It'll be extremely quick. Let's see how fun it is. And I'm going to change the rules a little bit in the essence of time. I'm just going to ask that if you did not get a decent copy, let me know. If you got a decent copy, we'll just go with the flow. And this is going to be a photograph that shows a recent accomplishment towards neatness and tidiness with some things that I'm working on around ham radio. So you'll see what it is. Here it comes. So again, that was black and white 12, 160 by 120 pixels, 12 seconds. It's probably black and white, and it represents a recent purchase of an organizer case made by Husky. Cost me about $10 from Home Depot. It has 34 compartments, 17 compartments on each side. You flip it over and you get 17 on each side, and the compartments are adjustable, and I decided to use this for organizing my test leads for automotive work and ham radio work. And previously, for all my life, my test leads had been in a beef jerky jar and have not been able to sort that out all my life. So now I got organization. I've separated my test leads into different compartments, and now they shouldn't get tangled anymore. Was there anybody that could not copy? Well, very good. Thank you. So, James, are you ready to transmit?
Let me do the tone. KN6QNJ.
Got tone that time, James. You want to go ahead with a photo?
All right, here we go, Pete. E120.
right, let me get oriented to, nice photograph of a cherry blossom maybe type tree, but it's a tree that's maybe blooming right now. Is that a cherry tree or some other kind of tree with pink blossoms? Wow, very pretty. Okay, so where were we? James, nice photo. Pretty. Bob, N6PGQ, if you're still with us, how copy?
Yeah, I'm still here. Nice photo, good blue sky, green tree in the background, the right. Boy, I don't think cherry trees are quite ready to go. Could be a peach or almond or something like that, but it's obviously springtime, and they may be waiting for the bees. Anyway, good quality, very few pixel pops, N6PGQ.
All right, Bob, thank you. KB4MD, Carol, any comments on the tree?
Yeah, this is KP4MD. Very good. You can see the picture I got here on YouTube. I see a lot of these trees around here with the pinkish blossoms, similar to what they call the cherry blossoms over in Japan. And yep, it's warming up. I have a bunch of daffodils in front of my house. They're in full bloom, and they were not damaged by the freeze that we had a couple of nights last week. What can I say? Spring is coming, and allergy season as well for those who are sensitive to that. So back to you, it's KP4MD.
All right, very good. Thank you, KB4MD. How about Joel, AI6DG? Would you like to comment? How copy?
Well, I didn't receive anything on the phone either. I forgot to press the play button to have it start decoding, or it was decoding and I turned it off. I'm not sure which. So I'm working off of the YouTube page, and when it first started coming across, I said, "Oh, pretty snow-covered trees." And eventually I realized, oh, wait a minute, those are pink. So they're cherry blossoms or almond blossoms or something. I'm not sure which. I've noticed the last couple of weeks the petals have been falling off all over the place. So there's big piles of them in some places. And I'm looking at this, and I see a whole bunch of straight lines kind of on the lower left. I was thinking maybe there's an antenna in the background with guy lines or something, but no, I guess those are probably just tree branches that are a little straighter than normal. You don't usually see straight things like that, so I'm not sure what that is on the left, but probably it's part of the tree. But yeah, it's definitely spring has sprung, and all of a sudden there's all this green stuff all over the place that needs to be mowed, and yes, not that far off before allergy season starts. Back to net, AI6DG.
All right, thank you for that, Joel. When you talked about maybe a tree or an antenna in the background of the tree, I was thinking, it was kind of like a Freudian remark, whereas, sometimes a tree is just a tree. Thanks for that, Neil. NR6H, how about Anders? Were you able to copy?
Yes, excellent copy. Beautiful day, clearly. Looks like mid-February day in Northern California. I see to the right there is a taller thing. That's clearly an antenna holder. And then the thing in the middle makes me reach for my Claritin box. NR6H, back to net.
An antenna holder. I'm starting to get it now. How about, thanks, Anders. How about Neil, KL7HQR?
KL7HQR. Yeah, again, very good copy. And it's the time of the year that I appreciate the most, walking around and seeing all these things flourishing. It's time for Neogemenis to come out of hibernation. Thanks for showing it. Back to net.
Yes, I agree. I just had one tree removed and one tree planted. Planted a Chinese pistachio a couple weeks ago, so it's starting to take off. How about James, KN6 QNJ? James, tell us about your photo, please.
This is a photo I took about mid-February, just walking the dog. near the American River, near my house, and I just thought it was pretty. A typical winter in California photo. KN6QNJ. Also, I don't know what tree this is, but they are all over. And Wilson, we didn't get a chance to talk about your box, which I like.
Well, you know what? I would say thank you for that, suggesting that. And I could stick around for a few minutes if you had any questions or comments on my box. I'm proud of it. It's a simple pleasure. Not much. It didn't cost me very much. I bought 3 of them. The other 2 I'm using for, one of them I'm using for small hand driver tools like hex wrenches that are L-shaped and small precision screwdrivers and other types of drivers like bits, hex bits, and Phillips and flat blade bits for drivers. And the other box I have blades and cutting instruments and drill bits and all that kind of stuff. So I ended up with 3 of these, one for drivers, one for cutting and drilling, and another one for wiring. And it worked out pretty nice. They're real tidy and they stack nicely together, inexpensive. And I started off shopping at Harbor Freight, but ended up over at Home Depot with the intent to buy some DeWalt stuff. But I like this. The Husky value price point is pretty good. So there's my comment. Any other comments or questions?
Thanks. Yeah, the price is amazing since you see the name brands 5 times that much for something similar.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for the comment, for the question, and on the tree. Is there any other follow-up points on the wonderful tree photo, which I really appreciate as well? Well, if not, guys, I'm tired, and guess what? This week spells out re-entry for me. I'm no longer a teleworker. I was doing that for 2 years as part of the, kind of getting, maximizing our social distancing at work and working from home for 2 years, and now I'm officially an office worker again. So it's a big change in my life, and I think I'm going to wind down the net for the night and just seek out if there's any remaining comments. All right. Well, let's see. I guess I want to first thank Carol for running the YouTube stream and say goodnight to everybody that's streaming. I won't enumerate them now. I want to say thanks to everybody that's been watching us and chatting it up in the chat box. And I want to thanks to all who participated in tonight's SSTV Net. We hope to see you again next Wednesday at 9 o'clock p.m. This net is officially closed at 10:31 p.m. Pacific time. This is Wilson, November 6th Echo Mike Foxtrot, wishing all of you a good evening. 7-3.